The Fijian team touring the Northern Hemisphere this autumn is unlike any that we have seen before. Ranked higher than some Six Nations and Rugby Championship sides, they are experiencing a golden age, and the underlying numbers suggest the changes have been radical and successful. In the past 18 months, Fiji have won back-to-back Pacific Nations Cups, beaten England at Twickenham, beaten Australia at the Rugby World Cup, maintained a top 10 ranking position and made a World Cup quarter-final. This is no longer a case of giant killings, of one-off shock performances. This is a consistent level of performance. So how have they achieved it? Well, the truth is there are several key factors at play here, but the fact is that Fijian rugby is unrecognisable from how it was pre-COVID. I was joined by professional rugby analyst Brendan Shields to understand what exactly has changed behind the scenes. You mentioned Fiji earlier on, and they've won the Pacific Nations Cup. They obviously were well embedded into the World Rugby top 10 rankings now, and it feels like we're living in a bit of a golden age for Fijian rugby with the advent of the Drua. They've come off that incredible World Cup campaign, beating England for the first time away from home, beating Australia at a World Cup, and now retaining the Pacific Nations Cup for 2 years in a row quite easily as well. What do you make of Fiji at the moment, and do you think that they really are, on balance, set to be a top 10 team for a few years?
I think so, and there's three reasons. It's scrums, lineouts, and restarts. Those coachable things that again point to deep culture. So if Fiji for 3, 4, 5 decades were always sevens based, certain approach to what goes on coaching paddocks all over the island, how young players come through the system, you would create a certain athlete. Now, since we've had a succession of really good, very technical coaches involved in Fiji. We've had guys in their directives, kind of higher levels and admin levels, who understood the importance of that. So if you look at, say, a national coaching curriculum that's been handed out to all coaches, make no mistake that Fiji made a huge turn. And if you measure to this day the Drua, for example, the Drua has an incredibly secure line-out, scrum and restart.
The Drua had the best scrum in Super Rugby this year with a 91% success rate. Meanwhile, they offloaded the second least of anyone, showing a fundamental shift in mentality. The Fijians have been a fantastic addition to the competition, winning all but one of their home games this year and making the playoffs in the last 2 years. But the biggest impact to the national team has been the huge leap in cohesion between players who were previously scattered across the globe, not to mention the vastly improved player availability and preparation time thanks to having most of the players based domestically. Over the last couple of years, one of the biggest changes that we've seen is to Fiji's defensive record. This graph shows a 4-game rolling average for points conceded and points scored. We can see that Fiji rarely concede more than 25 points in a test match.
They just look almost pragmatic. They long away from those razzle-dazzle sevens days where England would beat Fiji by 30 points, but hell, they play such exciting rugby. I think the Fijians are way over that, and they're doing simple things incredibly well at the moment, and it keeps impressing me. And I think because the sport in Fiji is so important, they grow very fast because I think young kids pay attention, and the line out and the technical aspects around the line out is now something that is of importance. It carries currency to know those things and being really good at them. Whereas maybe 30 years ago, a Fijian player just had to be able to offload really well, be really strong, be really creative on attack. Those things are not nowadays the things that carry currency.
A Fiji side that was essentially just the Drua easily won the Pacific Nations Cup for a second time this year, and for the Northern Tour they are set to welcome back their European-based stars. 2024 might be one of the last times we see icons like Samir Radradra and Joshua Tuisova wearing the white jersey, but there is still incredible talent coming through. Here are my top 5 Fijian players that you need to be aware of. Iosefo Mazi, aka the Slice Man. There is a very good case that Mazi was the best 13 in Super Rugby this season. He beat the most offenders in the league and had a fantastic PNC campaign, scoring 3 tries. Kitione Salawa Jr. Aged just 23, open-side flanker Salawa announced himself on the international scene with a hat-trick against Samoa. Juita Wainakolo. Last month, Wanakolo broke the record for the most defenders beaten in a single game of rugby, with 19. Still aged just 25, he made his Flying Fijian debut in 2021. Sireli Makala, a Sevens convert who won gold at Tokyo 2022. Still just 24, he is currently the joint top scorer in the French top 14 with 6 tries in 7 games for Bayonne. Isaiah Armstrong-Ravula. This fly half has played most games for the Fijian Drua at 10, but he's been moved to 15 for the international season and is forming a formidable partnership with Caleb Muntz. I loved their dual playmaker system of Muntz and Armstrong-Ravula at 10 and 15. I think that really opens them up in terms of their distribution, and particularly their attacking kicks, I think, really stepped on a level with that setup. Isaiah grew up playing rugby league in Australia, but converted to Union during high school and is one of the most exciting prospects in the Fiji team, aged just 20 years old. Do you agree with my 5 picks? Let me know in the replies down below. If you want to support the channel, you can get membership for just 99 pence a month, and it really helps me out. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.